Hello, my fair friends. I'm Ruby Ruse. This is Baby Bunny, and welcome to Fairy Fortunes. Today we're continuing our series on fairy fortunes and geomancy. If you haven't seen our previous videos on this series, by all means, check them out. They will be linked down below for you in the description box. So just briefly, I will just make mention that Fairy Fortunes is my own divination system that I designed myself, but I did base it on the Renaissance practice of geomancy. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about two of the cards from my system. Now, the first card that I would like to talk about today is Tristitia the Tengu. Tengus are bird spirits that come to us all the way from Japan. These are spirits that there are many stories with the Tengus. Sometimes they are featured as very dangerous spirits. In other stories, they are featured as very protective spirits. They are warrior creatures that can actually train humans as their students, and also there are stories of them being students themselves to human beings. So I combined the spirit of the Tengu with the geomantic figure of Tristitia. Tristitia in Latin translates to sorrow. Now, as with all of the fairy fortune cards and geomancy as well, is that it seems like sorrow would always be a bad thing. But in the fairy fortune system and in geomancy, the cards and the symbols are very particular to each individual situation. Now, sorrow seems like it would be terrible, but sorrow is a part of the human condition. In fact, it's part of the Fae condition as well. The fairies, as myself, we do not see sorrow as this negative thing that is to be avoided at all cost. It is a part of our emotional experience. And so another fairy will not, if a fairy asks one fairy how they are feeling, they never say, "I'm fine," unless they truly are fine. If a fairy is sad, they will very clearly tell you that they are sad. So I had another fairy fortune where I was talking about the Tengu and about sadness, and I will actually once again link that down below for you to watch so that you can learn more about how fairies experience and talk about their emotions. So the Tengu Tristitia in a fairy fortune reading really represents not just sorrow, but also it represents compassion. It represents wisdom, because it's often those challenging moments in our life that really teach us how to be strong. They teach us how to move forward in the world. They teach us how to help someone else when they are going through a challenge of their own. And so Tristitia and sorrow and the Tengus really represent not just the sorrow, but also what comes after that sorrow, how we process that sorrow, how we share that sorrow with other people and the future. And so, as I said, each of the fairy fortune cards are based on a geomantic figure, and here I have the figure of Tristitia here. The geomancy operates as a binary system. It's very mathematical, very logical. And so each of these four lines either has one dot or two dot on each of those lines. And so here we have Tristitia is 2, 2, 2, and only 1 at the bottom. And always with the geomantic figures, is that if you link up the dots, they form little pictures, little pictographs. And Trustitia almost looks like a stake being driven into the ground. And that is another element of Trustitia, is that if you are looking to stay put, if you're looking to ground yourself, Trustitia would be a good figure to have. Trustitia the Tengu appearing in a reading where you're looking for focus, you're looking to stay where you are. Trustitia staking you down into that ground would be a good sign in that case. So the second card that I want to talk about today is Letitia the Leshy. The Leshies come to us from the forests of Russia, and these are very wild nature spirits. They are guardians and protectors of forests, so they are very associated with herbology. They're very associated with caring for the environment. They're associated with the protection and conservation of animals. Letitia means joy in Latin, and so very much these two, as I'll explain in a little bit more, these two cards are actually exact opposites of one another. Now, once again, yes, Letitia is a very, very good card, and both in the Fairy Fortune system and in Geomancy, but there are times when Letitia may not be the best card to have, or it may rather not. That's not exactly what I want to say. Not that it's a bad card. Ooh, it's dangerous. But exactly, joy actually can be dangerous in certain circumstances. So where could joy be not so much of a good thing? Maybe you're so wrapped up in having fun that you're missing other warning signs around you. Letitia may be trying to tell you that. The other thing is that you may have this element of folly within you. So Letitia may be showing up to alert you that you're being frivolous, that you have an element of folly to you, that the joy may be running out very quickly in the near future because you're not paying attention. So just as sorrow is not something to be avoided, joy is not always the state of being that you want to be in. And if you're just now joining us to this series and to the channel, then you may or may not know that each of the Fairy Fortune cards has an element of music to it. I did not sing the song for Trustitia, so I will sing them both together. How about that? Trustitia Tengu the bird, she offers her wisdom of word. Your sorrow will wane, find courage in pain, lamenting is meant to be heard. Letitia Leshy sings true, he never keeps secrets for you. He jumps just for joy, delight to deploy, such frolicsome fun will ensue. So each of the Fairy Fortune cards actually has a little song that goes with them, because my music does generate my magic, and I definitely wanted my divinational system to include that magic. So here we have the geomantic figure of Letitia, and as you can see, I'm going to draw the dots together as I did before with Trustitia, and you can see that they are two exact opposite figures. So Letitia is a symbol that points up, Trustitia is a symbol pointing down, but as I said, this is energy perhaps going from the ground shooting upward, and this is energy coming from the sky and going downward. So that energy is not necessarily good or bad in any other position. This could be like a lightning strike, and this could be energy generating up and up to the sky and to the divine. So neither is necessarily wrong or bad. I do hope that you enjoyed this video on our series, Fairy Fortunes and Geomancy. I hope you will hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and hit that bell for notifications of future videos. We do have a Facebook page that is Fairy Fortunes by Ruby Ruse on Facebook, and please visit our website, www.fairyfortunes.com. I do post more information about each of these beings on the blog portion of the website, so be sure to look out for Letitia and Tristitia. One more word about Letitia the Leshy is Letitia the Leshy is actually helping me with a side project, Leshies for Literacy. On our blog, each of the Fairy Fortune cards has Letitia the Leshy popping up to suggest lots of books and resources for you to learn more about each of these traditional folkloric beings that are from around the world. Thank you so much for joining us today, and as always, have a fairyful day.